Today we're going to be learning how to use sketches, extrude, and fillet on Onshape. So as you've learned to create a 2D sketch, the next step is to turn that 2D figure into a 3D figure. And we can make things like a rectangular prism, a cube, a cone, even a sphere, as you'll soon learn. But today we're going to be trying to convert that 2D into a 3D figure using a feature called Extrude. And after we extrude a figure, we're going to use a feature called Fillet to essentially turn those sharp edges into something softer. So let's start by creating a sketch. I'm going to be using the front plane. So as I mentioned, we're going to be starting by creating a rectangular prism. And to do that, our 2D figure would be a rectangle. So on your front plane, go ahead and select the rectangle feature. And if you want to create specific dimensions for your rectangle, you can use the dimension tool to do so. So I'll make my rectangular prism 3 inches by 2 inches. And that will be the base. And then you can select how much you want to extrude it, which will be your height, and dimension that as well. So after you created your sketch, you can click the green check mark and that will be finished. And so since my sketch is on the front plane, I'm going to rotate the cube a little bit using my right-click feature so I can view it from a different angle, just so that when you see your extrude, you can see the depth. So the next step is to select this feature right next to the sketch button, which is Extrude. And as you can see, it's already extruded for you, but if you want to create a specific depth, for example, dimension it to maybe 3 inches, you can type that in the depth section and it'll essentially go out that specified length. And so now you can see we have our rectangular prism. And for example, if you wanted to remove a rectangular prism from an already existing figure, you would just click the remove feature and do the same thing. So when it has this kind of red kind of color, it's going to show you that you're removing. But obviously we're making a new surface. So once again, I'm going to type in 3 inches for my depth and then click the check mark. You can also use manual movement to change your depth. And there you have it. We have a rectangular prism. So the next step is to use fillet feature. And so as you can see on our rectangular prism, these sides are really sharp. And if you were to print this, it might hurt someone. And that is why people try to use the fillet feature on things that might have sharper edges. So yeah, the next thing we're going to do is click this fillet feature. And the way fillet works is it basically takes these sharp edges and it just rounds it at the sides. And so where it says entities to fillet, you basically select the lines or edges that you want to curve. And so notice how if I did both of these, it would basically overlap them and kind of soften this edge here. And so you can go ahead and do that to all the sides you want to fillet. If you rotate around, you will be able to select all of these edges and it's going to turn your fillet inwards. So continue to do that throughout your shape. And if you end up getting a red error, it means that your fillet is going to overlap. And so do that wherever it will permit you to without creating your error. So I'm just going to start by filleting the top 4. And if you want to change the width of your fillet, you can type it in right here or you can change it manually, just like Extrude. So I could make mine, for example, 0.2. And fillet doesn't generally need to be that much unless you're aiming for a very soft or very thick edge. So yeah, once you're finished with that, click the green check mark and your fillet is finished. You have the capability to do this to as many edges or even faces as you want, but for now, this should be good. So let's move on to the next feature.